Welcome to Day 7 of the Legends of Mathmatica Kickstarter. And as stated before, we're going to keep going ahead until the very end of this thing. So, let's get right down to business here. As of today, we haven't gained any new backers. We're just at 18. I suspect we might stay at that for a little while. Still the same number, 1,391. And 23 days till the end. And, as stated before, I will be continuing to add links to the previous daily updates. And, as you can see, it's empty for today's one, Day 7. Yesterday's update went for a fairly long time, and I ended up spending at least half of the day just editing the things, like 52 minutes of, me going on and on about backer info, which I think was warranted, but still, I'm going to try and keep today's one a little bit shorter, a little bit more focused. At any rate, what I want to talk about today is firstly, the response on yesterday's video. Now, admittedly, at least on the BitChutes and the YouTubes, I haven't really getting that much viewership, but I was kind of surprised by a sudden rise in viewership on the PublishOX platform, which I'm certain not very many people are even really familiar with, so here you go. It's a crypto, it's a platform that is mostly surrounding crypto. I happened to cross it and got approved to be a poster on it. So, I'm not sure, but I think I might be one of the very, very few people that actually is talking like games and stuff. Most of the talking on the platform is about how crypto works and everything, which is cool. I think it's great to have a platform like that. But yeah, so we got 105 views on the Day 6 one. So I gotta thank all of the people on PublishOX for giving us some viewership there. I really appreciate it. Going from there, you might remember that I had come across a thing called Tstand while scouring the Reddits for information on backer info. Well, this is what Tstand is. It is a high-tech holder for screens. You do stuff, and then you can put whatever it is there, and primarily, you lay it on your chest, but you can like put it on tables and what have you. They refer to them as birds on their Kickstarter page, which they do have one. I don't really feel like linking to it, but well, actually, I probably should, if only to look at the things, but maybe another time. They did they blew past their goal very much for this standy stand. Like, admittedly, when I looked at it, I was like, this is a glorified banana holder, except it's for screens. So it's something that's more useful than a banana holder. The banana holder is an actual product that was sold in certain grocery stores where the only purpose it really had was it was like this little plastic thing with a hook on it, and its only real purpose was to hold a banana up above the ground. I think it was supposed to preserve freshness or something. I don't know. Whoever was a mark for that, I'm certain they'll be able to explain why that's useful, but at least in my opinion, it was kind of like, banana holder. This kind of gets the same meh response from me, at least for the price point, but at the same time, someone must love it, because this is actually their second Kickstarter, and their first one was also very successful. Incidentally, talking about Kickstarters and techniques, it was an interesting thing I noted. So this is another group that's doing a Kickstarter, Shrine's Legacy. I'm actually looking forward to seeing their stuff. I saw them doing some things, and I felt it would be good to poke at their stuff. But one thing I think is very interesting. Well, not interesting. This is actually well-traveled thugonomics when it comes to Kickstartering. This is actually, generally speaking, when you go to do Kickstarting, this is one of the things that you're advised to do. Like if you look at their follower account, and they haven't even launched yet. Like this is what you do. You do a lot of pre-promotion on various platforms, and you get people all aligned with you on the product, so that when you launch, there is a, what would you call it, a critical mass of initial backers. It has to do with this psychological aspect. One of my other friends who's run a very successful Kickstarter in the past, it was for Mysteries of the Yokai, which I might poke at that a little bit later, at least to show you their page and some of the stuff that they did. But one of the big things was, before they even got to the Kickstarter, their calculations, they took into account how many backers at X levels would they need to actually hit their goal. And then their launch date for their Kickstarter would be based on how many, if they actually had that amount of followers or a little bit more, across their social media presence, so that when they announced that the Kickstarter was going, they knew that there would be at least, like, say you have 1,000 people, right? Depending on what kind of a following you've gotten there, it's like, probably like a 75% turnaround, 75 to 50% turnover, at the very lowest 25%. But even in that case, depending on what your goal is, that will usually put you more than a fourth of the way there just on your first day, if everyone notices that the thing is going on. And this is what you want, because there's a psychological aspect with regards to Kickstarting, where when a person goes in, they want to be funding something that they think will be successful. And so when they look at it and they see that the number, that the little bar is super tiny, they're like, oh, they're not going to do it. I probably shouldn't throw any money on here. Now, I personally feel like it's kind of a little bit counterintuitive, because, I mean, you've got all those days, and theoretically it should be kind of people kind of trickle in, and then as more people know about your thing, more and more people come in. But ultimately, the data says otherwise, where it's usually you get a huge bump at the start, a huge slump in the middle, and then a huge bump at the end. when you're usually about 75% there, or you're already overfunded. That's usually how it goes. It's by the 50% mark, you're usually already overfunded. And I can point to a couple other Kickstarters that are there that ended up at that point. At which point, the rallying is just to get to the stretch goals. But I digress. That's a little bit of Kickstarter foo. Obviously, I was performing very poorly, but our crew might be performing a little bit poorly. But with that said, I'm still going to charge ahead. I'm stubborn that way. Anywho, let us move on to another thing that I wanted to point out to y'all. So if you remember, last time I talked about Indiegogo being the place to go for comics. Well, I also wanted to tell you a little bit about two guys that I know of who every once in a while will chat about indie comics that are coming out. Now, the first one is this guy named Unqualified Comics. I came across him on BitChute, and he was pretty fun. He talks not only about indie comics, but just comics in general. Like as of recent, if you are not aware, you should be now that Miura, the author of Berserk, which if you are unfamiliar with that comic, you should be. Go learn about it. You don't necessarily need to read it, although I think you should. But it's definitely worth it. But he's noting that that man recently died, and I think it is a loss. Because he's the guy that, what is it? He couldn't win any more awards because they wouldn't let him. Because he kept winning. And he wouldn't stop winning. So he basically got a lifetime victory achievement award for great manga art and just general works of fiction. But yeah, he has died, and his work is very, very. His work has had a large effect on all creative spaces. Basically, he's the one that originated the big giant sword, the human character wielding a big giant sword, and he's probably still one of the ones who's executed the idea the best. Anywho, the other one is Comics for Everyone, and this guy just regularly posts group things where it's like he has a whole bunch of different comics that you might not have heard of, and this it's a fairly reliable. Pretty much on a regular basis, you can usually check in and be like, oh hey, what's the new comics of the day? So it's very interesting. I think it's worth a thing. So, and then finally, you have the Indiegogos itself. And as I said, this is where a large amount of the comics are. At least the indie comics. And there's all sorts of different things here. So, if you are interested in the comic book revolution, which, believe it or not, it's been underway for a while now. What with Marvel kind of going under. Indiegogo is a great place to start if you're just looking for the up-and-comers of the day. Also, those other two guys that I mentioned. So, the last bit I wanted to talk about was I had mentioned Crowdster with a C before, and this is a guy that I'd spoken with, and he's got a great. I just like him. I think the actual owner of this group is just a really cool guy. I really like him. He's got a heart for in general helping people, and so that kind of reverberates through his work. At any rate, as stated, this guy, as previously stated, this guy's focus is primarily on helping out with nonprofits. Although he is able to help out with other forms of crowdfunding, but his jam is the nonprofit style organization. So if you happen to have one that you're looking at putting together, or you've got an inspiration for something that, like, maybe there's some form of change you want to do in your community, you're not quite sure how to do it, well, one of the ways to do it would be to form your own little organization, a nonprofit, figure out how you're going to do it and all that stuff, get some people together, and then once you've worked out what it is you're trying to do, then you can go to this guy, and he'll be able to figure out how to get you the monies and how to get things done. And he's got a couple of groups that he's worked with in the past and all that stuff. So I like this guy. And I know you might be disappointed. I normally, most of the time, I'm going about kind of ragging on and digging into the bunk backer booster the bunk backer booster booze. And make no mistake, I'll probably still do that as I go. I still have some other groups to look into, but I wanted to keep today short. And if I start doing any form of investigation, it's going to take, as yesterday showed, that'll take a little while to do. So, as far as the Kickstarter itself, as stated previously, in our one of our previous ones, we are the demo. I actually have it here. It's ready for uploading, and I'm going to be adding this guy to. I will be uploading this guy to itch today. The reason why I'm showing you this and doing it today is because now you know that I'm supposed to do this. Keep myself accountable. But yeah, so we'll be throwing that in there. I'll be throwing that up today, and it will be available for. The demo will be available for. Should be available for download at the very least by tomorrow, assuming nothing goes awry. Assuming. But other than that, our Steam page is on its way. Recently got the demo page visual aspect approved, and the main page will be approved. Should be approved because I'm basically using the same imagery from the demo page for the main page. And that will also be approved. Hopefully. Assuming nothing weird happens. And I always say that because you never know. You never know. Anywho, this next week, because it's going to be a little bit of a whirlwind, because I'm going to be trying to oversee the creation of our trailer for this game, and also looking into a few other disparate elements. I will be posting a few interviews with our teammates. So some of these, for those of you that are familiar with us, you may have seen a couple of these interviews before, but there is one new one that I will probably be opening with, which is with the musician for this game, the one Christoph Jacob, who is a fantastic musician. Like, I cannot stress enough how good of a musician this guy is. Like, I personally think that he's a legend in the making. You can agree to disagree, I suppose, but you'd be wrong. I'm just gonna say that. You'd be wrong. This guy knows his stuff. This guy's really good. And I personally think any project that he is on, he elevates. Incidentally, all of the music that has been under every update up to now was made by him. That stuff, that was him. That stuff is, well, maybe I'm biased, but his stuff is really, really good. Anyway, so you can look forward to that. But yeah, that's all I have for today. So without further ado, I'm going to bring us to the sign-off. Play the games you want to play, boyos. This is Redcoat, signing off.